Hey, hi Sonali. A very good
Hi,
morning. How are you doing?
I am fine. How are you?
I'm good too. So, we from Women in Cloud Native are very excited to have you here. And let's start.
Same here. Yeah, sure.
So, Sonali, I would like to start with a very small and crisp introduction of yours.
Okay. So I'm a mother of a preschooler. I am currently working as a developer advocate at Infra Cloud Technologies. In this role, I act as a technology evangelist, crafting proofs of concept for cloud native technologies, observability, service mesh, and everything around Kubernetes. I have a diverse background, so I leverage that to produce informative blogs and tutorials. Recently, my blogs have been featured in CNCF blog and Cube Weekly newsletter as well.
That's great. That's great. Like quite an experience, I find. So,
Yeah.
how do you define your tech stack to be? I mean, if I'm saying it right,
Yeah.
exactly what are you working on right now? Yeah.
So I graduated in 2016. So I'll start from before that, a little before that. In 2015, during my college days, I learned about myself, that I like to explore. So I did Python development based project one sem, and the other sem I, set up a mail server on a Debian machine. That is like a totally different project. And then I
Oh,
got a job offer at a startup, which was for Python developer, and I took it. So by the time I graduated, I knew that my interest in that mail server project that I did was more compared to the current work that I was doing.
right.
So after graduation, I joined a domain-based hosting company as a Linux system administrator because I knew I have that interest and passion in me for Linux. So my role involved monitoring and troubleshooting Linux-based machine and using DevOps tools, training professionals on DevOps, the new joinees, onboarding them. And at the same time, as I was growing in the organization, I even got a chance to lead a Microsoft EAS protocol-based project as a product owner. So I roughly worked there for 3 years, and then I took a break for personal reasons. During that phase, also I continued my tech journey. I made use of my DevOps expertise to draft a training program for college students, explored cloud native technologies. That was the first time I came across cloud native tech. So I built a
Right.
platform on AWS using Terraform, Packer, Ansible to provide training servers to these college students. I automated the whole thing using Bash. So everything that I learned at the last organization, plus the new things that I was learning, I kept on building on that. They could uniquely SSH to these servers, do lab exercises, attend sessions, live demonstrations on this using the CLI. So everything was there in that machine. So my passion for open source, Linux, all that was still, helping me. But when things were not working out in this phase, I decided, I'll go and aim for something a little high, which was something part time, and that's when I got to know about Outreachy. And I applied at Outreachy, and then Outreachy happened.
That's awesome. I mean, quite a journey you have. So, I'll just have a follow-up question to that. So, how has your outreach experience been? I mean, like, right from a lot of women in general, I mean, did not even know how to apply to this, let alone the fact, participating. So, could you share your outreach journey?
Yeah, sure. So I'm telling you now, while I was trying to shape the idea of this online training and everything, it was not surviving it didn't survive because of funding issues and things like that. So every woman who is on a break, they try to do something or the other. They want to come back. They want that passion fueled in themselves.
I mean, once
So
in tech, you're always in tech. You just feel it so insightful. I guess you just don't want to switch.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's very normal. So even if you're a mother, you still want to continue that going, that passion in
Sure.
yourself. So as a mother, but it is not easy, to pick that full-time job, and it's very difficult. You need practice, support, confidence. So I started looking for something, part-time or internship, and that's when I subscribed to one of the GitHub repos, and I got to know about Outreachy via one mail, and it was just a few days when this application phase was closing. So I laid myself out there, I'll be honest. I wrote every possible thing that they could ask. They have a set of questions, where you have been treated differently. And I was very open vocal about how what my journey has been, how I had to switch, and how I had to give up my job, and then what choices I made in life. I wrote all that, and fortunately, and they gave me a shot, and that's when the contribution round happens of Outreachy. So one is first is application, then is your contribution, and they give in that a list of open source projects, which can
Okay.
be a real challenge for someone who has been away from the industry. Okay,
Right.
because
True.
yeah, I mean, you are not day in day out in touch with those tech. So, but if you have any prior background, or if you have been, keeping on and off touch with some technology, it's a very vast list. I mean, there are projects for tech domain also, non-tech domain also. It's a
Okay.
huge list, all open source projects. You can say Wikipedia, or you can say something like Systemd, which was my project. So
Okay.
but if you are finding, or if someone is finding it challenging, Outreachy has provided all the sources that you can ask for. Okay, you can reach out to ex Outreachy interns. You can read their blogs. Everything is public. They have their own email ID shared, LinkedIn account shared over there. You can access these, and I mean, you can reach out to them. I What I did was, I saw a few projects. I was like, okay, one, two, three, all these three are of my interest. Plus, I know something or the other from this. So
Okay.
I reached out to people through these channels that were provided by Outreachy, and got to understand how Outreachy works. Okay, I picked one of the
Right.
project that I saw. Very few people were going for using the
So
IRC
that's
channel.
how
So you
you
have to
use your
do,
brain. Right? That is the turning point, like between a person
yeah.
who gets selected and who doesn't. You need to know what you can do the best, right?
True, true, yeah. And you need to make, I mean, you need to make a list. You need to do your homework of what you know. Don't live in a bubble. You need to
Right.
figure out what you know and what you don't know. That's. I'll be
Right.
very honest over
Very well
there.
said.
So, and make use of everything that is available. So Outreachy provides these IRC channels links of all the projects, or GitHub issues link. I used to spend hours reading each. So there were like, I think, 20 plus projects. I used to read each and see where people are responding more, people are participating more, and things like that. That's when I chose System D, because I felt like the chances are higher in that case, because it was hardcore C programming, and
Right.
many people don't opt for that. It takes a lot of time. The changes will be very less. It won't be a very major change, but you will have to figure out where you have to make that change. That is tough with System D or C programming. So that was actually a turning point. I learned a lot of C at that time. Forget about what I learned in college. you know, everyone learns C in college, but that is totally different.
So
and
you
then
learn
and
to
then yeah,
implement
yeah,
at a
you
very
learn how to implement at a very granular level in the system
right.
itself. So it was like kernel programming is also one thing that is based out of it. So you are somewhere close to kernel in that process. And then
Right.
finally Outreachy happened. I was selected. I made major contributions to the project that was going of System D, and I was assigned a mentor who is a maintainer of the System D project. And then again, it was a new learning experience. So Outreachy is a whole process. Like, this was contribution phase that ended, and then finally I was selected for Outreachy, and then the
Right.
main project starts. So this mentor of mine, he used to collaborate in an async way. So time zone was never a problem. He never used to follow up like one to one, where are you, what you're doing. Never. They have a very cool style of working. So uh, Outreachy will not give you the scholarship also in one go. They have a system,
Okay.
like once you complete the task, you will get paid according to it. It comes in two slabs. So if you have
Okay.
accomplished the half of the project, or like 60% based on how the mentor has defined, you will first complete that, then you will get paid, and then the second phase happens, and then you will get finally paid. And you get
Right.
to meet a lot of people. I have met so many people across geographies, that and the kind of confidence that they have given to me, it pushed me to come back to workforce. I got clarity of what I wanted to do, actually, because I have been into DevOps also, I have been into development also, I have been a product owner also. So it was difficult for me also to come up with a very concise resume, where I can go go with. Okay, but Outreachy gave me that clarity, what I need to do, and I don't need to go office for that. I can do that from my home, ensure that I give best care to my child, my
The
family.
best part about being in tech, right? You can just
Yeah,
be
yeah.
there. You need to have your mind. You just need to have your system, and that's it. Yeah.
That's it. And before Outreach, I did not know this could happen actually.
Right.
Because of Outreach's experience, people were okay. Okay, you have already worked on a project in work from home style across geographies, so it will not be a problem for you anymore. Okay, and
Right.
I was able to express that also. That is also an important part. I mean, it's not that you
Right.
just know some things. It's important that you know how to express that also. So Outreachy gives you a chance to write blogs of whatever you have been doing. You have to write that and you have to make that public. So what happens is the next batch who will come, they can take help from it. And that's how you are helping yourself also by writing everything, and you are helping whoever is going to come next. So
Right.
Outreachy was very soul satisfying, if I'll tell you. But when
I guess, I mean, that has like boosted up the confidence in you. Of
yeah,
course, I
yeah,
mean, when you do something on your own, cross geographies that is actually impacting the world,
yeah.
it creates a different sense of content in yourself, right?
Right, and I remember when my first patch was actually released. So they merged first, but the release happens depending upon the whole release is planned based on that.
Okay.
So when System D 251 and 252 was released, any DevOps engineer or developer or system admin can relate to this. Everyone whoever uses Linux uses this man pages or manual pages very frequently.
Right.
My
Right.
changes are part of it. I mean, I have written that. There is a line which I have written it. It's not just a minor change, it's a big, huge bug fix on in suspend and hibernate. There's suspend that you suspend your machines, right? So there's this thing
Right.
suspend and hibernate in Linux. I fixed that.
Right.
So I don't think I have experienced anything before Outreachy like that. I have not. It was totally different. Being unemployed, I think, helped me in a way. To come back in such a way. I don't think if I would have been working continuously, I would have even gotten such an opportunity or even talked or even got such an exposure. And now I am an open source contributor because of Outreachy. That is my experience.
Awesome. Awesome to hear this, Sonali. So, how has your experience as a woman been in tech? I mean, this is always my favorite question because I can answer a lot on this. So, how has this journey been as a woman in specific in technology?
One thing that Outreachy does is it will ask you how you have been treated differently. Okay, and so I had mixed experiences, and that is why Outreachy selected. I mean, they will select people who have been treated differently. So I had mixed experiences. I mean, when I decided to move with my husband in 2019 to a remote city, he's in a government service. So I had to move
Okay.
to a very remote city, and my employer at that time, they went beyond their policy, and gave me work from home for 3 months. They didn't have work from home policy. Companies usually don't do that. I mean,
Right.
I really had troubles, when I started looking for work from home jobs in Linux, open source domains. And my employer, they gave me work from home, but then I made a choice. Okay, I won't continue, but that's a different thing. But they went beyond their policy to give it for 3 months, which was like not. It didn't happen before, and it never happened after that for
For
anyone.
sure.
Although
It takes
COVID
a lot for a company to change their policies. I mean, you
policy.
must have been, skilled enough and crossed expectations for them for them to change their policies. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean after COVID, definitely every company had to adjust and come to a phase where they had to include this policy. But before
Right.
COVID, this was not the reality. It was very challenging. So I made a choice. Okay, I'll focus on my personal stuff and I'll not work for a while. And that's when I took a break. And when I decided to come back, okay, I'll talk
Mhm.
about this experience. So this was prior to me taking break, which was another change that I was going through. I had to face people who were saying why you are quitting. I don't want to answer that. And it's a
Yeah.
choice I made, right? So when I wanted to come back, I'll talk about that. It was very difficult. Why? Because there were many options now, but now the level has increased of assessing people,
Right.
and many people have not heard about Outreachy. So they would just say it's just an internship. I mean, and then I had to send them link, explain the level of it, and still I would be stuck in the same cycle. People saying it has been only 3 months. So since you have been working, we cannot consider internship as an employment. So it's a gap. Then it was really
Mhm.
hard emotionally also, and I had switched
Imagine.
so many, yeah, so many roles. I had a diverse background because I like to learn, because I like to explore. So things kept coming my way. I picked up things with ease. So instead of one seeing it I mean how good I am at picking things and picking new things, and then I mean it was like I was experiencing a fact that I don't have a consistent profile. So instead of
Right.
people saying that you are good at picking things, people would ask me to delete stuff from my resume. So and
I mean,
there are also,
it's kind of a sad thing in tech. I mean, there's so much to explore, right? And people who really
yeah,
want to explore, they are, I mean, I don't know, if you just want something better for yourself in tech, and if you want to, explore maybe cloud, or maybe DevRel, or maybe
whatever,
some other
yeah,
domain, it just feels like there's a specific term called job hopper about it. I think you might have heard about it. They're like, okay, you're
true.
not consistent with your work, you're not consistent with your tech. I mean, I'm still exploring, right? I mean, yeah, I
Yeah,
get that. I
and yeah,
completely
everyone is
get
still learning. So, and this was one of very rough phases. And being a
it.
mother,
Mhm.
you already get very limited time in your bandwidth. I mean, I
Right.
cannot, I don't have a job right now, so I cannot take help from anyone else. Also, I don't have any source of income. So how can I, put my baby in a daycare or keep a help at home? First, I need to
Right.
have a job, and then I can do that. I can promise that. Okay, so yeah, and that was one experience. Then the other was my current employer. Okay, there are companies like that who will hire you for diverse background. There are, and they offered me the role that I absolutely love. I adore it. It has open source, it has Linux, it has everything that I can ask for. I love to write. It has writing to a depth that I have to spend time to read and then come up with the concepts with POCs, things like that. So it eventually took time, to figure out how I have to do it, what I have to do, why I have to do was first clear, but then yeah, the process took time to stabilize everything and put it in a shape that I want to go for this. And I actually gave my best to Infra Cloud's interview. I still remember how much I wanted that to happen, and I am happy that it happened.
I mean, I really love the energy, Sonali. I mean, people often, this thing that I find in tech. I went to a tech meetup yesterday, and all I found was 2 out of 50 women. The footfall was 50, and there were only 2 women. I mean, that just shook me from inside. Every time I visit a tech meetup or a workshop, or
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah.
that is what we are trying out here at Women in Cloud Native, so that, we just, we feel it, we want to go for it, but there is so much external force working on it, that you have to, always keep on self motivating to go ahead, to learn more, to explain the same thing to others, why you want to learn what you
Yeah,
want to learn, and why you want to be there in that organization, and then besides your skills, I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the whole plus. I
I
get,
mean,
I completely.
yeah. I mean, employers when you are hunting for a job, the package is a big number. Okay, package is the
Right.
big contributing factor when you take a
For
role.
sure.
Okay,
For
yeah,
sure.
and when you are coming back from a workforce, it is very difficult to decide sometime how much package should I be asking. Okay, like should
Right.
I ask as much as my last employer was offering me, but it has been a gap. There has been a gap. So does it make sense to ask that much also? Should I ask more, or should I settle for whatever the employer is offering me? Even less than
Right.
that. So that is
Right.
a very conflicting time. But I have faced such interviews. Okay, I'll be honest. I have faced interviews where the employers have asked me to settle for less, but it was my choice. I prefer that. No, I will. I deserve that respect. I have been in touch with tech for a long time, even though I was on a break, but I still didn't leave all that. I mean, I was not enrolled with some company. That doesn't mean I am out of. I am not updated. It may be something I
Right.
don't know, but I just need
Right.
time to figure that out. So the best part about this current employer is they never even questioned this thing. They were like, they just offered me a role after the
On
interviews
the
happened.
basis
They
you
offered me a
as
package.
an
Yeah,
employer in tech wanting to learn, and that's it, right? I mean,
yeah,
it feels it feels so rewarding to be treated normally here
Yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, 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 definitely. And I was surprised that, there are employers like this also who will not even, and I was actually very happy at that time. I mean, I celebrated, I celebrated out happening outreach. I celebrated happening infra cloud in my life. Things like in career perspective, because they have given me stability, and that
Right,
stability impacts my personal life also. And I need to keep the balance going. I mean, if I will
for
not,
sure.
my family will fall apart. So
Right.
yeah, and being a woman who is working, who is taking care of the family, is very soul satisfying for any woman. They can understand that very much. Both the things, it's needed for any woman.
For sure, Sonali. I can feel I mean, I cannot exactly place myself in your, in your foot, but I would say that it has been a wonderful journey that you have shared with us. So, would you have any advice for the women or people in general who are actually switching careers? Like, even you took a break, right? And then
Hmm. Hmm.
started your family, but you never left tech. It was like a clear distinction between your professional and your personal life, right? And the later part of which you wanted always. So, how is this? How what would you advise people to like do in such things, who would such cases, who would want to go on
Hmm.
with their
Hmm.
personal journey as well as keep tech as their priority?
So, like I said, I mean, both the things go parallel. Your personal life will also go with the tech. You just have to
For
keep
sure.
yourself, yeah, enthusiastic. Anyone who is switching roles or who has been on a break, you have to. If you have not been in touch, it's okay. It's not a problem. Every day comes with a new beginning. You just have to pick one tech, okay, and figure out, whether you are interested in it. And you just have to keep going. Add one drop to it every day. Read one page, read one blog. I know there is a lot of content available online. Okay, it is difficult to decide sometimes. It can be overwhelming also. But like I said, it takes time to figure it out. One has to keep going and try their best. No one is going
Right.
to do it for you or for me until you have that confidence that I'm going to do it for myself. You will have your
Correct.
lows. People will treat you differently. Talk it out with people whom you trust, or who will not judge you or ask you to settle for anything less. I'll wrap this with a short story. So CNCF has Q Weekly newsletter. Okay,
Okay.
I sent my DevRel role includes writing technical blogs and articles. Okay, and I sent them two of my blogs, which according to me were my best. Okay, but they were
Right.
not published by Q Weekly. Okay, and
Mm.
I was so broken from within that I can't explain. After I started working with InfraCloud, okay, and I wanted to get my blogs published in Q Weekly. And it is not
Right.
some sort of a benchmark, that someone has set or my employer was doing, and not, it was nothing like
But
that.
you do it
I
for yourself, right? If you
Yeah, I
put in the
want.
effort, if you put in the time,
Yeah,
you want something to keep rewarding you to get going. I mean, I get it. I get it
yeah.
from this point of view. Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to see my blog featured in Q Weekly, that I get a mail that my blog is in that, you know. So I told my husband one day that what if I never get featured, because I have been away and things like this, and so he just heard me, and then his reply, it has fueled me, and it fuels me every time I think of it. He said, "You can spend your time thinking about those what ifs, okay, or you try to figure out how your next blog is going to be better than the previous one." So
Awesome.
yeah, so he was like, You you like what you do, I know that, okay, I've seen that in you, but that does not make you an expert. Okay, you have been away for a very long time. Industry must have evolved. Expectations might be different, or there might be
Right.
better articles or blog posts coming around. You have the potential, so that is why your employer hired you. Okay, but you need to practice to refine your skills. It is not gonna happen in such short span of time. You're setting such goals that are not gonna be not gonna be achievable in such a short span of time.
Right.
So yeah, so I mean, he
So to
said
sum
this
up,
one.
your message would be something like be consistent, keep
Yeah,
yourself updated, and never let go of the enthusiasm,
yes, you
despite
have
facing
to.
several things. Right.
Yeah, I mean that will
Yeah.
require some real life changes. But it is
For sure.
always about choosing what you want. You have to you have to set realistic goals, and which is achievable. I never dreamt of getting a job as a DevOps engineer, even though that was the next thing I had in mind after becoming a sysadmin or a product owner. But that would mean working in a shift, being on call, going to office, and all that is not possible for me with a child. I have to be real. I don't want to miss out on being a mother also. My
Right.
someone else is raising my child. I don't want that. So set a
Right.
realistic goal which is achievable and that gives you a happy life, and give your best for it. I mean, if you consistently give your best for it, you keep trying, you connect with people, and then just give your best, you'll be able to achieve it. That's for sure. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Sonali. Thank you so much. I mean, even I feel so motivated right now. I'm sure our audience would be loving the story that you have shared and would be inspired by it, and it would help them in places where they feel that they're not enough to just work on themselves and get what they want. So it was great. It was great interacting with you, Sonali. Thank you so much for taking out your
Uh,
time interviewing with
Thanks to
us.
you
Thank
for giving me the opportunity to share my
you. Sure.
journey. Like it has been almost I think I started working in December, so it has been roughly 7 8 months. I've learned so much of tech, interacted with so much of people that many I have not I didn't do that much when I was working earlier. It has been such a change for me. So I think anyone who tries can succeed. There will be challenges, but yeah, you have to try consistently.
Well said, Sonali, and I wish you all the very best for
Thanks a lot.
all the goals that you've set for yourself. Just keep going, keep learning, and keep sharing the knowledge and all your experiences. Good luck, and see you. Bye.
Sure. Bye. Thank you.